Yo, what is good, my anime freak? What is good, yo? So let's talk about One Piece. There is something that I remember why I kind of stopped watching certain types of shows, and One Piece, Toe is these episodes and their overall bait in them, in the case of just being good at showing something from preview episodes, which, remind you, I've never been more excited to see something pop off just because I saw an arm in a preview episode. And this is happening twice now. I saw the old guy's arm and it was purple and it was dope, and I was excited to see this episode. Now I just saw Luffy's arm and him have a whole different color than purple, which, if you didn't pay attention to the small details, there are these rose petals, or like these sakura flowers that are falling, or like that are pretty much created because of this old man's attack, which I don't know about you, but that is pretty hype. So there's that. We also have the fact of the matter, Luffy needs this teacher, and he very much so just found it easily like that. And he's been hanging out with him, and this old man could have tried to speak up a little bit sooner, but I mean, I guess things really were popping off, and he's not really cut out for battle like he used to be, so maybe that's the reason why he kind of just was asking so many questions repeatedly, like, what are you trying to do? What is it that you're trying to do? It's like, if you knew what he was trying to do that whole time, why did you try to interrupt him quicker to push the narrative, brother? But no, I can't blame him. I gotta blame the people that want this story to last as long as possible. And, at least, like I was talking to someone about Toe, it feels like a lot of this stuff is more or less Oda's way of just allowing the anime to maybe fill in some smaller gaps that he himself doesn't have to write, unless he has to, completely go over what people are putting out in the anime. But all they have to do is whatever is on the manga, plus, I guess, make it a little bit more flashy. Some people don't like the flash, but I say this show is worldwide, and you kind of have to sell it globally instead of just to a core audience that reads it, right? So, interesting enough, all of the, every time you see like really sick looking aura and all this different stuff around the characters, that's extra supposedly, right? Like, to the readers, from what I'm hearing anyway, that's not something they care to see. Like, a lot of them just are disappointed that the anime has gone that route. So it's actually really interesting to hear their reasoning why, or just seeing how they felt about it in general, when clearly it was done for some flair, and it was done reason alone to get people who don't watch One Piece at all to just see it in ooh and ah, which is exactly what happened with Demon Slayer, exactly what happens with One Punch Man. Like, come on, we all know that as soon as some anime character starts popping off and doing some ridiculous stuff, everybody wants to see it and talk about it. So that's just how it be and how it do. But at the end of the day, seeing what Luffy's arm's gonna look like in next week's episode is the main reason why I'm probably using it in my thumbnail. So if you are wondering about the title, I literally am excited about the arm and the animation and the overall growth of the character of Luffy, just with this new teacher he's meeting in a prison cell, where he's already gotten physically stronger, but now he's about to add a technique for his haki on top of that. That's not looking too good for Kaido at all. So definitely looking forward to what they're gonna drop next week. Outside of that, it was really just Zoro learning about a whole bunch of stuff that hopefully he remembers or he doesn't get lost trying to tell other people about, because you know our boy Zoro, he kind of slow. um, but yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary besides just learning how everything kind of sits with everybody in Wano and the current like over overhaul that Kaido has pretty much done by showing up and taking out Odin. And the weird thing about the whole her thing, like announcing that, I was super confused on how old that kid was. I thought that kid was like way older, and he just looks like a kid because last time I checked, this old lady, she is pretty short, like probably the same height as that kid. And I was like, if he just stays that height for the rest of his time, that would suck. I would hate to be that short. Be like 2'1". Nah, I don't even know how tall he is, but overall, I did like where it sounds like all these different high class samurais are being introduced, or not introduced, but they're being re-announced and told on the case of which ones we know and which ones we don't know, and she filled in the blank for the ones we didn't know. So that's actually surprising. We just don't actually know when this full-blown attack is supposed to take place. So getting closer and closer to finding out if Kaido, who's gonna get to Kaido first and who's gonna snuff this man, because Kaido seems like he is a problem, but at the same time, Luffy learning this technique might take a while. But if you look in the preview episode, it looks like my man masters it in almost one episode, which if you go look at my review for this last week's episode, I straight up called it. There was no way they were going to show us a whole bunch of hype stuff with Luffy doing anything. And what did they do? They did the little bit of Zoro that I thought we were going to get. Like, Zoro was half of the episode. It's like, okay, now the other half should be Luffy. Nah, the other half wasn't Luffy. The other half all of a sudden turned back to the, the other side of Nami and Sabo and stuff like that. So, pretty disappointed in that regard, how much time they spent on that. And then they gave Luffy like maybe 5 minutes altogether, 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes. So classic One Piece, and it's kind of scary to think how many episodes we're actually going to land on before this thing ever comes to an end. So with all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. I'm your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. So with that, take care and peace.